Hi there, welcome in. It's Heather with Heather's Healing, and I'm here to look at the energy of December. We're going to look at the color energies 12 and 3. I also pulled some cards earlier looking at the energy of December and what we need to know. So we'll go over those cards here in a little bit. So welcome in, sit back, relax. If you don't want to watch the video, you can just listen to it. That works great as well. And welcome in. I'm Heather with Heather's Healing. I'm a medium, an energy practitioner, a Metatron color healer, and I'm here to help everyone realize their purpose by stepping out of victimhood and into unlimited possibilities. So let's go ahead and get started with let's start with the fact that we're headed into December 2025, Sagittarius season. Sag is a fire sign. I love Sagittarius energy. It's very expansive. They're very philosophical. I enjoy talking with Sagittarius people. They're very optimistic. I love their view on things. They're fun people to be around. And they're always up for exploring, learning new things, and I love that. And they're ruled by the planet Jupiter. And Jupiter is a wise, expansive energy. It's a big energy. So we are dealing with the energy of Jupiter now that we are in December. What I thought was interesting is the numerology for this December is 12, and then that reduces down to a 3. And in the color mirrors system, the energy of 3 is represented by Jupiter. And I know I spoke quite a bit about the power of 3 and the energy of 3 a few videos back, so I'll try to remember to link that in this video. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on 3, but I am going to talk about it briefly here. So Jupiter is a color energy of 3, which is the coral color, the coral energy, and that's helping us shift from old patterns, old ways of being that gave your power away, to reclaiming who you truly are. And so what I would like to do is pull some cards looking at what is the gift. What is the gift that Jupiter is bringing us this month? What is, if we can surrender, if we can step away from old patterns, truly release old patterns and old ways of being and embrace who we are becoming, what are the gifts that we can receive this month from Jupiter? And thank you so much for being here, you guys. So I'll probably do a mix of pulling Oracle and Tarot. What I'm hearing is one of the biggest gifts is authenticity and the satisfaction that comes from living your purpose, standing in your power and standing in your purpose. So the gift that Jupiter is bringing us this December. Let's see what we've got here. We've got card number 51. We've got the diamond light energy. The card says purity and innocence. What I feel from this is, I don't want to call it a restart, but it kind of feels like that. It's a clean slate. It is having a deep appreciation for who you are, who you were, all that you have learned, all that you have observed, and really stepping into your power. So we're being offered a clean slate. What I like about the energy of the white light and the diamond energy is it's incredibly expansive, and it gives you the opportunity to reimagine your life, reimagine who you want to be, who you are. Why did you come here? You know, what what are your unique gifts? What are your specialties? What is it that you offer? What do you offer the planet? You know, we each have a light, a very unique light, and we're meant to shine that light. And in our light lies our unique gifts that can only be brought through you. So I love this energy of reimagining and being open to whatever that is for you. Let's pull some tarot cards. Tell us more about this white light energy. What else do we need to know about the gifts that Jupiter is bringing through? For all of us here watching this video, is there something stirring in your soul? Is there something that is calling out to you? And maybe in the past you have, you know, found all the reasons why that wouldn't work for you. Maybe it's time to revisit that. Let's pull 3 cards here and see what we have. Interesting. So what I feel here with this, we've got the 8 of Cups, and I feel like this is the huge challenge, is walking away from the old version of you, walking away from, and you're not running from yourself. You know, a chapter has definitely been completed. This is a 9 year, and I've talked quite a bit about 9 energies. Even in the weekly readings, the energy of 9 has came up, but it's an ending. It's a closing out. A chapter of our existence is over and done with, and we're moving on. We have leveled up. We are not meant ever to stay at the same place. We are meant to evolve and grow. But the tricky part, the challenge of the 9 energy is walking away. You know, it is leaving behind that part of you and embracing the new. And embracing the new, that means embracing the unknown. And I don't know about you guys, but I really hate the unknown. I like to know what to expect. I don't like surprises. That's just me. So the biggest challenge is just having a lot of faith and trust and allowing yourself to really feel into what it is to be you. Who are you? How are you moving forward? Next year, it's the energy of 10 and 1. The end of a chapter and the new beginning. I think this would be a really good energy just to spend some time focusing in on, feeling into, having a lot of grace and appreciation for who you are and who you were and who you are becoming. What the card we have here in the middle, and again, this is just kind of repeating what I've already said, but it's kind of nice to pull the cards and have that validation as well. The 3 of Wands, this is where we are right now. And I love the 3 of Wands. It's one of my favorite cards. It does tap into the energy of Aries. So looking more towards the spring energy, but this is potential. This is your potential growth, your potential expansion. We're not here yet. We're not taking action on this yet. We're really just kind of feeling into that and getting a feel for what that might be. You know, what are you learning? What are you wanting to explore? Where are you going? There's also an energy here of adventure. Long distance travel can be a part of this card. Relocation can be a part of this card, but this is potential. It's potential growth, potential expansion. It does involve other people, usually teamwork. It's the energy of 3. Oh yeah, we have the energy of 3 again. And I'll try to remember to put a link to that video below talking about the energy of 3. But that is part of this energy. It is the manifestation. 3s are force multipliers. And it's your life taking shape. It's the unknown beginning to take shape. And here's the potential. This is, we've got the Page of Wands. This is representing a future version of us, a future version of you, where you have a greater sense of adventure. There's more courageousness here. It's a very active energy. It's not passive. This is actively taking steps to shape your life and shape your future in the way that you want it to be shaped. I think that sometimes, especially when we're talking about manifestation in the spiritual world, there can be a lot of, oh, just, you think it and imagine it, pray for it, whatever, and then it happens. Well, that's not how it works. Spirit, we can ask for their cooperation and their help, and they can bring in the right people and put us in the right places to make things happen that seem quite magical at times. But we have to physically move this physical realm. They can't do that for us. We have to do that. We have to move the physical things. We have to take the physical actions. So I do feel like looking into this next year, we are being asked to actively participate in our life. I'm going to leave it there for that. But I like this energy, and it's also learning. You're not going to be an expert at this. This next phase and chapter of our life, we're learning something new. We are, like I said, we're moving out of who we were, which could be very comfortable. Even when things are rough, even when you are working a job you hate or you're in a relationship that you don't like, there is this there's a comfort to it, even though it might suck. You know that terrain. You know what to expect. You know it, you understand it. So when we have this type of energy, you are exploring a new terrain in the upcoming future. And these are the gifts and blessings that are coming through in this month. But we have to be open to it. We have to be open to a new terrain, exploring a new world. And it could be just, I say just, but this is huge. It could be that your perception of life has shifted and you're seeing your life and you're seeing others through a new lens. And that can make all the difference in the world. It's like coming up for a breath of fresh air when you've been, down in like a stagnant cave for eons. It's a refreshing energy that's coming in, but we do have to be open to that. And that means allowing ourselves to be placed in situations that are uncomfortable, to be pushed out of our comfort zone. And for some of us that may be a little more stubborn than others, expect the universe to kick you out of your comfort zone. Some people are really great at this. I think Sagittarius is a good example of people that they like change. They've got to be mixing it up, trying new things, doing things differently. So it's really easy for them to explore and invite in new environments and new people. But then there are others of us, some of the more fixed signs that aren't as open to that. And quite often, when that happens, the universe will make those changes for you. So I wouldn't be surprised if many of you have experienced profound changes throughout this year, or you are experiencing that right now. Be open to wonderful things coming through. Change does not have to be negative, horrible, all of that. Pausing to take a drink. So this is the energy of 3, and I love that we have a 3. Now let's move on to the color energy of 12, which can be a bit of an ass kicker. So the color energy 12, it is sometimes referred to as the wake-up call, and it's the colors violet and red. So we are pulling in the wisdom from our soul, the wisdom from the upper chakras, the wisdom and guidance from our guides and teachers, from God, from beings from the higher realm, and aligning that with bringing that down into the body, embodying that, and pulling that into the root chakra. So violet and red is aligning with your soul's purpose, pulling your soul's wisdom into your daily living. It's embodiment of who you truly are. It's no longer viewing yourself as a victim. It's no longer viewing yourself as, well, you know, I'm stuck. I don't have options. It is seeing unlimited possibilities for yourself. And when we can bring in the energies of violet and red and bridge them together, that's when you are living your life embodied. You are being very authentic. You are not, and this doesn't happen all at once. It can slowly take place over time. And what I often see is it will start with one area of life. So whatever area is the most uncomfortable, that you cannot stand, that's where it will start. So that could be a change of career. Maybe the job, the work you've been doing, you're no longer aligned with. It served a purpose at one time in your life, and it no longer does. It could be a relationship, but it starts in one place, and then you make those changes to become more aligned with who you are and what is truly authentic to yourself. And then it kind of, reverberates through all areas of your life until you are truly living an authentic life. What can it feel like when you're living an unauthentic life, or you are outsourcing your power to others? That can feel like frustration, anger, victimhood, feeling unwell. If you have been living in a place of inauthenticity or outsourcing your power to others, that will take a toll on your body at some point. You will get sick at some point, most likely. It can manifest in just not enjoying life and trying to escape your everyday life. So pay attention to what areas you are feeling this frustration or this ache for something more. That's pointing to an area of life that needs to shift. So let's go ahead and pull, I'm trying to think of the question that I want to ask here, working with this color, the color 12, the energy of 12, this violet and red color. Well, let's just go ahead and pull a card and see what comes up, and we'll go from there. So asking Metatron, what is it that we need to know, those watching this video at this time, what do we need to know about this color energy of 12, this wake-up call? What is it that we're being asked to wake up to? What is this? I just keep hearing peace. So we've got the card number 41. It says, as above, so below, heaven and earth. And this is peace. So again, this does remind me of that violet. If you see the picture, this is being the upper chakras and then the lower chakras, bringing through your soul's wisdom and embodying that. You are living that. You're really embracing that in your everyday life. Let's pull some cards on as above, so below. And when I was thinking about peace, it doesn't mean that everything in your life just flows and is wonderful. It doesn't mean that. And I certainly am not living a fully aligned life. I'm working on that. And I think for many of us, that is the work of a lifetime. It doesn't just happen. It's the work of a lifetime. But what I have noticed is the more aligned I become with my soul, the more moments of peace that I have. It's extended peace. And even when life is rough and is just kicking your ass, you still will have this sense of peacefulness that everything will be okay and everything will work out. I can't quite explain it other than that. And I will also say it feels like the wisdom of your past lives is able to come through more clearly the more aligned you are to your soul, to your soul's path. It's almost like it opens up a door, several doors of wisdom that you gathered from past lives as well. And I think that helps you problem solve better. I think it just gives you a broader landscape, a broader view of the terrain, maybe is another way to look at it. What else do we need to know about this color energy of 12? Violet and red. It's also not living in survival mode. You're not living in survival mode. You are not, and I definitely had many years of living in survival mode. It was all about just making enough to pay the bills and take care of my daughter. That was it. And at that time, that was good enough. But when you're in that energy, you're not concerned about aligning with your soul, aligning with your purpose. That doesn't matter. But as you are able to get to a point where you're not in survival mode and you have more options and possibilities open to you, I do feel like we have the responsibility to make living authentically more important, and getting out of survival mode. What else do we need to know? So 3 cards looking at heaven and earth. I'm going to pull 3 cards and then I've got something else to say about not being too much in the upper chakras, not being too much in the lower chakras. I knew this guy would come out. So there's something here about finding that balance. I have a hard time with a lot of the spiritual community. It is not grounded in reality. I find that there's a lot of people trying to escape who they are, escape this human life. We're here to be human, to exist in our bodies. So people are either living so much in their higher chakras that they're not living authentically. They aren't embracing their truth. They are trying to escape the body. It's a form of escapism. And then on the other side of that coin, you can be so much the in the body and in this experience, but not be grounded. So whether you are living and experiencing everything from these higher chakras or from the lower chakras, you're still not, it's still not embodied. There's an energy of escapism, whether it's escaping into, meditation, into the higher realms, hoping that a higher being will come down and save you, or you are so invested in limitation and survival and overriding your divine guidance. Neither one is very helpful, and I find that people often can have an all or nothing. Either they're too much existing in the higher planes, or they're too focused down in the heaviness of being a human being. And we're really meant to find that balance, to bridge those two energies, to bring them together, because they are meant to work together. And they each bring their gifts, and they each bring their own intelligence. But we've got to learn how to work with those energies. We've got to learn how to bridge that violet energy and the red energy, because we are in a body that is heavy, that is dense. We have responsibilities. We have bills to pay. We have families to take care of. We have ourselves to take care of. You can't do that when you are all living in some fantasy world. It's okay to escape to that world every now and then, but we can't exist from that place. Yeah, so we have a lot of, okay, so interesting. I'm just trying to decide what message is trying to come through here with this. I think what is being shown here is a new way of, it's a new way of being. So in the past, when Tower card represents chaos, things falling apart, it's that Mars energy where everything just falls apart, your life comes crashing down. We all have these tower moments throughout our lives. This can show up as an illness, hearing about an illness, the death of a loved one, divorce, finding out that you've been lied to, finding out that others have deceived you. I mean, this shows up in so many different ways throughout our lives, and we all have these tower moments. But going forward, well, okay, I guess let me finish my train of thought here. So in the past, when we've had these tower moments, for many people, this would close us down. These hurts, this pain would close us down and shut us off to others. It could force us into a victimhood mentality, waiting for someone else to step in and save you. This could show up as hoping that the government steps in and saves you. This could be hoping that another person will step in and help you out. Pentacles talks about physical stuff. So maybe someone stepping in and helping you out with money. It can push us into a victimhood mentality where we might make decisions that aren't the best for us, but because we're scared, because we are not willing to see ourselves as a powerful being, we outsource our power, and that gets us stuck. Or we can become someone who sees other people as opportunities to take from. This can be a really narcissistic type of energy. And when you've had enough hurts, this is often what happens with people. They shut down. They can become very victim mindset, or they can become opportunists, and they become the perpetrators. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to, befriend this person because I see what they can offer me. It's all about taking. Not giving back. It's just taking. And we're being asked to step out of this type of experiencing of life. And then oftentimes what happens, we've got the devil energy. We can't exist. We can't exist in these realms for very long before we start seeking comfort. And with the devil card, here comes the addictions. Here comes all of the ways that we try to comfort ourselves, when really we're just being asked to embrace our authentic way of being, put down our walls, have forgiveness for ourselves and for those around us, see our role and see our part in all of these tower moments. And, what happens when things fall apart? In the past, what has happened when things have fallen apart? We all have a pattern. And then this devil energy, these addictions, these ways that we comfort ourselves actually destroy another layer of ourselves. And it's a cycle that keeps repeating. And you can see it. You can see it in your own life. You can see it in other people's lives. It's a pattern. And then it's like, here we go again. We're being asked to step out of this. Now, the tower moments aren't going to go away. But if we are able to be very honest with ourselves and be very courageous, we can choose to respond to these types of moments in a different way. We can learn new tools. We can learn new ways of dealing with this type of energy. Because we're always going to have challenges. That's not going to go away. But how we respond to those challenges moving forward is going to make all the difference. And there is another way of responding. And it can be, if you have been in this energy for a really long time, it can feel very uncomfortable. It's a lot of having faith and trust when in the unknown. Which it's not a fun place to be. But the more you practice having faith and allowing things to kind of play out, and not rushing in and being impulsive, trying to do something because you're uncomfortable, allowing yourself to sit in that uncomfortable energy, be real and honest with yourself, and ask the questions. What is it that you want? What is not working? What about this situation could be different? How can you improve things? So responding in a different way to tower moments moving forward. And I think that really does break down the energy of 12 and 3 quite well. And it is so much of like repeating patterns, and we all have these. This can be the self-sabotage type of energy. I definitely can see it within myself. I can self-sabotage all the time. I have an all or nothing way of being, and I know that about myself. So that's something I've really been working on. I can't just say, F it, I'm done trying to improve myself, But in the past, I've done that. And then things spiral out of control, and you're just repeating a pattern again. So having said all of that, looking at patterns, and that is what the energy of 3 asks us to do, is shift from these types of patterns into responding in a different way. And it's not going to be comfortable. It's teaching yourself a new habit, a new way of being. It takes time to develop that. It's something that you have to practice. It doesn't just happen. But we're being asked to do that so that we can truly create from a clean slate. So I pulled some cards a few weeks ago looking at the energy of December. So I want to go ahead and dive into these energies here. It's pretty self-explanatory. And as I pulled the cards, I was like, well, yeah, that's definitely where we're at. So the first card that I pulled was Vortex of Change. It says, engage with the vortex of change, where energies swirl in transformative dances, molding anew. I feel like the last 5 years has been a vortex of change. I know that COVID wreaked havoc on everyone. I mean, that is a collective tower moment. And that's fascinating to me. It really is fascinating. As human beings, we all experienced a tower moment together. All of us, the entire freaking planet, the entire world, all at the same time. It wasn't just a calamity happening in one area and a different calamity happening over in this area. The entire planet experienced a tower moment. That, to me, is freaking bizarre, but also amazing. I mean, I don't know. Talk about, as a collective experiencing, almost being on the same page. Yes, we each had our own experience of that, but a collective tower moment, the entire planet at the same time. It's fascinating to me. So, vortex of change. We are in a vortex of change, especially this past year. It's the year of endings. That's continuing. What is really awesome about endings and vortexes of change is we have such great opportunity to welcome in big shifts of energy. And it truly is those endings and beginnings, because endings and beginnings happen almost at the same time. It is like a vortex. It's a vortex of energy, and it's quite powerful. And I feel like that's why it's so important that we're very mindful and intentional about what we bring into this into this upcoming year. Do you want to repeat the past? Do you want to repeat the last 5 years? Do you want to keep repeating these same patterns that you've been repeating for, I don't know how many years? Getting into shitty relationships, getting into jobs that, aren't paying the bills. I mean, so many things. Do you want to continue being the doormat? Do you want to continue being the person that takes from everyone? Or do you want something more? Being very intentional. These two cards, beautiful cards, divine timing, be patient. For some things take time to manifest fully in your life. Very true. I think I know that there's several things that I came here to learn. One of them is being patient with myself. I have a lot of patience for other people. Being patient with my own process, not so much. So being patient, divine timing. You can't force divine timing. It will happen when it's meant to happen. You might not have all of the answers. The other thing that I find interesting, hold one sec while I take a drink. The one thing I find kind of interesting and also frustrating as an intuitive, as a medium, as someone who has spent a good portion of my life developing and improving my skills to speak with the other side, And a lot of that is natural gifts, but I also have put in a lot of time and energy into, you know, perfecting that and honing in on that. I'm pretty good at it. Starting in September, things have gotten really pretty quiet for me as far as my guides. They've been, I don't want to say distant, but it's felt that way. And I know that when they pull back, I'm entering a time of change and divine timing. And you might be having a similar experience where you're not really seeing the clear path ahead. You don't feel like you're getting the wisdom and the guidance that you once got. And I feel like when this happens, and I'm experiencing that now, this is because we have free will, and our guides and God cannot intervene with our free will. We're given space to decide what is it that you want. And then we have the divine flow. This card says, let go of attachment to the outcome and let the universe bring gifts. And that's when you find that divine flow. And I feel like it's so hard to not have attachment to the outcome. At least for me, this is something I struggle with. So in this type of energy, when you're being asked to get clear about what it is that you want, rather than thinking up a scenario or physical things, what I find most helpful, and you might find this helpful, is decide how you want to feel. How do you want to feel most of the time? Peace, joy, satisfaction, connection. What is that? What do you want to feel? And allow yourself to settle into that energy, to call in that energy. And then when the time is right and we have surrendered, that's a tough one for me. Surrendered, we've let go of how we think things should look, how we think the outcome should be. The universe can wow us. Beautiful things can happen. And something that I've noticed in my life is I think I know what I want, but that's coming from my human preferences, not really from my soul. And when I have allowed myself to not be attached to my human preferences, the universe has just wowed me. I mean, if the opportunities have been brought to me that I didn't even know that I wanted. I didn't even know were possible. So allow yourself to have this time in December to not have all the answers, to be sitting in the unknown, to be really uncomfortable, but trust that there's something greater coming in. There's greater gifts coming in. And we are in this vortex of change. And it truly is a really powerful energy to be in when we are in this type of energy. Not comfortable, but super powerful. Just trying to think, I feel like that is the message that wants to come through. Let's just pull a few more cards. What else do we need to know? You know what? I think give us a glimpse of what's coming in. What can we expect? Here's me not wanting to unattach to the outcome. I feel like I do this a lot where it's like, just give me a little taste. Like, give me a little idea. Get me excited. Help me not feel so uncomfortable. And you can ask your guides to do that. You can ask God to do that. Okay, so in this vortex of change, we're being patient. We're doing our best to let go of the outcome and how we think it should look. Give us a little taste of what we can expect. Well, I just got huge chills here. I really like this. Wow. All major arcana cards. So this is really powerful. What can we expect? Well, you are on the right path. None of us are off track. We are all on track. We can expect life to speed up. We can expect things to start taking shape pretty quickly. So enjoy this moment, this month of, I don't want to say calm because it's not necessarily calm, but enjoy this month of reflection and contemplation and dreaming and imagination, because things start taking off pretty quickly. We've got the Chariot here. These are all major arcana cards, by the way. So these are energies outside of us. These are huge energies coming in to assist us. We've got the Fool. Yeah, we kind of knew this. A leap of faith, stepping into the unknown, new beginnings, new starts. And these are places we haven't been before. So keep that in mind. It can feel really scary. It can feel really uncomfortable. We're learning new things. You're not going to go into this next phase with all the expertise. We're going to need a beginner's mind. We're going to need to be open to learning. And then in true fashion of change, we've got the Moon. It's the unknown. Again, it's like Spirit just gave us a little taste of what's to come. Beautiful things, bright beginnings, new starts. Not necessarily uncomfortable. The path ahead is not going to be laid out and super clear. This is where a lot of trust and faith is going to come in. And I think that's why it's so important to learn how to trust the wisdom and guidance that's being given to you. Staying really grounded within yourself, being very present, just being really aware and trusting how you are feeling, trusting the messages your body is giving you, as well as the messages that the outside world is giving you. And I don't mean people. I mean paying attention to signs and energy from nature, from your guides and guardians, from your body. We're not taught how to do this. I know for a fact at one point in probably many, many lifetimes ago, we were taught how to do this. We are very disconnected from our physical body. Not all of us, but we could be very disconnected from our physical body, from our intuition, from sensing and feeling our way through life, which is how we're meant to be, our natural way of being. We're so disconnected and deconditioned from living like this. This is something that we've got to learn. I do like this. It's very beautiful. These are big energies, though. These are big changes, you know? This is a huge, talking about a vortex of change, this is a huge vortex of change that we are walking through. We've been walking through it this whole year, but December closes this out. And whatever energy we're able to hold is what is going to help shape this upcoming year, which will be really interesting. So I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I do want to say, if you are interested in looking at your year ahead, book a 60-minute session and we can go through each month looking at your year ahead and see what's coming up. All right, you guys, I wish you well. Wishing you all the best. Please subscribe if you haven't. I am trying to grow this channel. and get to 1,000 subscribers. All right, you guys, take great care. If you have any questions or if there's anything that you would like me to read on or whatever, put it in the comments. Take great care.